Hey Snapchat, I'm between soccer games, so I thought I'd sneak in a quick snapstorm. Today I'm not going to go for advice. I'm going to offer you some insights into something I've been thinking about the world of computing lately. I first started getting into programming and computing in 1984, so it's actually been 32 years for me. And the one thing we have to address is I/O. Many of you know what I/O is, but in case you don't, it means input, output. How do we get information into the computing world, and how do we get it out of the computing world? In the 1980s, it was basically just keyboards. You didn't really even have mice. So the I/O was typing, and the screens were all green screens. The first big innovation on I/O was the mouse, which was popularized by Apple. It was copied by Microsoft when they launched 3.1 of Office. And basically, since the 1990s, we've been using keyboards and mice as our most common form of I/O. About 21 years ago, I first started hearing the arguments for voice being the most common form of I/O that we would have in the future. I first started playing with word processing software that would translate what you would say and then convert that into digital bytes. But eventually, as you know, it took almost 20 years from then until it became popularized first through Siri and now through Amazon Echo. Over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, I believe you're going to see an explosion in voice-based I/O. Of course, it's significantly more convenient to be able to speak and have a computer take action against your command. And equally, the O part of I/O, of course, we're going to have a lot more voice instructions coming from our computing environment. So I think voice-based I/O is going to be a major trend for the next 5 to 10 years, but that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is what is the major I/O past voice? What will we see next? I believe the next major metaphor for computing over the next 10 years will be computer vision. This is starting to form a major investment thesis for Upfront Ventures. We've been investing a lot in computer vision. I know many people understand that computer vision's out there, but again, I want you to start thinking about it as input-output. Let me explain. One of the investments I made is in a company called Osmo. They take your iPad, they take the camera, and they project the camera down on a playing surface on the table. By doing that, children can use tiles and other physical products, and the iPad reads and interprets what they're doing. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to announce a major new initiative that I want you to track by Osmo, but that's not really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the I/O. Already, we're teaching numbers, we're teaching spelling, we're teaching logic, and we're doing drawing games where you're not typing anything. That's the I. But I imagine that the future world of this kind of computing also includes an O. Imagine when you have cameras not just interpreting what you're doing on a desktop playing surface, but also a projector that's projecting down on that surface. Imagine if you have cheap cameras on your ceiling above where you cook food, and it's monitoring and measuring the ingredients you're putting in food. When you start to think about it, imagine how powerful it's going to be when you break down the barriers between human and computer by getting rid of the keyboard, the mouse, and the screen. And the interface between the human world and the computer world is going to become a lot more seamless. Another perfect example from our portfolio is a company called Ring. Ring is a video-based doorbell. Using Ring, they have a camera. When you press the doorbell, you not only see who's there, but it uses computer vision to track the whole perimeter. Ring is the single best new product I got in the last year. And what it does is it creates a perimeter around our house of video delivered to my phone. I have 2 more, I believe, breakthrough computer vision companies. One that we'll announce in June, one in July. Both of these companies are designed to break down the interface between human and computer. And this world that we keep talking about, Internet of Things, and I hope that term disappears, but to date, what IoT most people think of is they think about health devices that you wear on your body. And of course, computing is way more pervasive than just what would be on your body. In a world of cheap cameras connected to computers that can interpret things in real time, and in a world in which voice response and projection of images can go anywhere, I believe the barriers between human and computers will be broken down, and computer vision is going to lead that revolution.